All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. So firstly, let's talk NBA Finals. We just witnessed Game One. We just witnessed what happened, and let me start out by saying I know that a lot of people, this morning are gonna get on J.R. Smith, and I just want to tell them just don't, because listen, that happens. It'll happen. You're gonna forget. I mean, in the NBA Finals, with the biggest stage, with the largest spotlight on you, you're going to have a lot of things going through your head. And in that jumble, the score might slip it. And I think that that's what he did. And technically, if he did the right play for what he was thinking. He was thinking, okay, we're up. Let me, dribble the shot out. And I really can't blame him for that because that'll happen. That happens to the best of us. So let's get that out of the way. Let's also say of what I did see besides that J.R. Smith, that final blunder. LeBron had a superhuman effort. He dropped 51 points. He didn't miss his first 7 shots, and that's pretty insane. The Cavaliers ran a great pace, a great offense. And I think that, at the end of the day, it just came down to, just mistakes. They allowed themselves to dig themselves in a 7-point deficit, and they were able to dig themselves out of it. But along that way, you had mistakes like silly turnovers and, LeBron taking a lot of, shots that he could make, but they weren't necessarily viewed as, good shots. And a lot of people are gonna be complaining about the refs, and I think that is I guess could be a valid point, but they're human, they're gonna make mistakes, and I agree with people who are saying that it's the finals, we should have as close to perfect as possible, and I think it was pretty good tonight. No, it wasn't perfect, and it's never going to be perfect, but I think that they did miss a couple calls in terms of reaching fouls and stuff like that, but I think at the end of the day it's a it was a good officiating game. Not good, but okay. And let's get into the end of that game, because that end of the game was pretty insane. With 2.4 seconds left, Tristan Thompson gets ejected for talking to Draymond Green, and Draymond Green gets in his face. He pushes back, and that was all due to LeBron blocking Curry's shot with 10 seconds left. Man, it's pretty insane to think of how heated, an NBA Finals can get, especially, with that magnitude. And Thompson knew that they lost the game. There was 2 seconds left, and he lost his cool. But so did Draymond. He's gonna do that. Draymond's I'm gonna say it out loud. He's a dirty player, and he always will be. And he just did what testosterone does to you, I guess, in a game, and he goes all at it. So that ending was, I think, unnecessary. The refs drew that on for like 10 minutes. I was like, dude, let me go to bed. Let me think about this game, because they drew that on for like, probably 5 more minutes than it needed to be. And even the announcers kind of agreed with me with that one. But I think that, at the end of the day, I think that 13-point spread that they favored Golden State at, I guess technically they got close. I think it was like a 9-point game, 10-point game. They won it by. But that does not reflect on how that game went. The Cavaliers had that game won. LeBron hits an and one layup. It was a crazy layup. And then after that layup, he proceeds to make the free throw, putting them up by 1. They were in a great position. They were in position to win that game. And then Steph comes back and hits a crazy, well, not a crazy, but it was a layup, He gets knocked in the face by K-Love. And then it proceeds to be, pandemonium. Then LeBron, and then, they were dribbling down the court. And that was a great play. What they had drew up is that they had LeBron on the top of the key, and this is after Steph Curry's layup, the M1 layup that put them up by 1. So LeBron was at the top of the key, and they didn't have anything set. They didn't have anything set up. They had LeBron at the top of the key, holding the ball like he was doing all game, just kind of standing there and dribbling, trying to dribble around Curry, trying to get bailed out by a fadeaway jump shot. And then he tossed it into George Hill that was getting held by Klay Thompson, and the Cavaliers got bailed out. Because if that play had proceeded like it did, LeBron would have to force up a tough jumper that may or may not go in, but I'll play the percentages and say it doesn't.
And I think that said that if that play went like it did, that was not a great play, and that would not be the greatest play to draw up. We just LeBron isolating and standing. That's a good play, I would say, 90% of the time, but not during that circumstance where you need a bucket. And they got bailed out by that foul on George Hill. George Hill goes to the line, proceeds to make 1 or 2 free throws, and that last free throw is going to be kicking himself for. But what I think about this game as a whole, I look at that 13-point spread and I say, wow, boy, were they wrong on that. Because, yeah, like I said before, it was a 10-point game, at the end, 9-point, 10-point game. But this game went into overtime. This was a close game. They had it. The Cavs had it. It was in their grasp. And they let it go. JR let it go. George Hill let it go. Kevin Love let it go. LeBron let it go. Then they proceeded to give the Warriors what they do best and shoot threes. Get easy shots, ball movement. The Warriors started the overtime on a 7-0 run. And that was due to the bad decisions made by the Cavaliers. And I think this is not going to be a sweep of a series. I even don't think this is going to go 5. I think this series could go 6 if the Cavs keep playing like they did. They did great things. They rotated. They kept the pace up. They made to guard the 3-point line pretty well. And they shot pretty well. They didn't shoot great. For a while, they were pretty cold. Combined the teams, I think at some point the stat was like 6 for 41 from 3, which is pretty bad. But that started to pick up. But I think that shows a lot about this finals, that the Cavs was in it and still stayed ahead when they were down, when they were behind, and when they were not hitting shots, they would still find a way to be competitive. And the thing that impressed me most is when LeBron was on the bench. They didn't blow the lead. They didn't lose ground. The bench did what they needed to do when LeBron was out. Don't try to do anything crazy. Just sustain what you have. And they did that great. They even outscored Golden State 7-4 when LeBron was out. LeBron had to play all 48 minutes in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals because the bench and LeBron's replacement couldn't sustain anything. That's why he had to play all 48 minutes. But in the finals, he could sit out for 1 or 2 minutes, get his rest, and he would not have to go into a deficit or to a lost lead. And I think if the Cavs can continue to do that, I think that they have a good chance of winning 2 games. And well, I don't think they'll win the series still. I think it would be a lot more competitive than most people think. And I think that a lot of the analysts who are saying, okay, 13-point game, the line is, I think it's going to be more than that. I think the Golden State's going to destroy this. Stephen A. Smith, on ESPN said, I don't see how the Cavaliers win 1 game or more. And after this game, I think a lot of people have to change their opinions because this game showed that not only are the Cavaliers and LeBron capable of winning the game, they're capable of pushing this series to 6. And I said this before. James Harden and the Rockets took the Warriors to 7 games. 7 games. And in Game 7, it was just Harden, and they had a lead. They had a 15-point lead. And Harden gave it away, and the Rockets gave it away. But that shows that the Warriors can be beaten with 1 superstar. And I think LeBron James is much better than James Harden. By a stratosphere. But by a lot. I think LeBron James is better than James Harden by a good amount. And if James Harden can push the Warriors to 7... if James Harden can get a lead on the Warriors by 15 points. And keep in mind, the Rockets only lost that game because they missed 27 straight threes. LeBron team's not going to do that. LeBron, if James Harden can do it and get a lead, LeBron can get that same lead and sustain it. And that was proven tonight. They had a great game. It was a great game. They played really well. It just didn't end up right in the end. Game 2, as for the prediction for the rest of the series, I think Game 2 goes to Golden State. Excuse me. I think Game 2 goes to Cleveland. Actually, I think Cleveland pulls that out on the road. I think it happens. I think Game 2 goes to Cleveland. I think that they are able to regain their momentum. I think they're able to pull this one out. Especially, since this game could have gone either way. I think LeBron and the Cavs pull it out with his greatness, and he punches it through. I think that happens. I really do. Game 3, I have going to Cleveland as well. I have Cleveland winning 2 straight. Just more secures of momentum and just how LeBron plays at home, especially. Then Game 4, I have going to Golden State. Game 5, I have going to Golden State. And then Game 6, I have going to Golden State. And now, this isn't due to, a testament to the Warriors. It's more so just a testament to, a detestament to the Cavaliers. LeBron cannot carry this team forever. He needs Kevin Love, George Hill, Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith to step up. And they stepped up in their own right tonight. But like we said, that's like the game showed that wasn't enough. They were close, but it wasn't enough. For this series to go past 5 or 6 games, LeBron's co-stars need to show up consistently. Not only, once or twice a game, but consistently. And I don't think that'll happen. Not every game, and that's why I see the Warriors winning 3 straight games. Because as much as I want, I want to say that they can pull this off with LeBron carrying this whole load, I don't think they can. And I don't think that the Warriors will allow that to happen with their ball movement and wearing him down and playing good defense. I don't think that LeBron beats Golden State more than twice by the way these things are going. If his teammates show up, excuse me, if Kevin Love, JR, Korver, if they all show up, I could see them pushing it to 7. Call me crazy, but maybe even winning it all. People would call me crazy after this game, before the series started. But after Game 1, I think they can see it more clearly. That this series is much more of a series than people thought. And I'm very glad that it is, because I didn't want a boring finals. And I think it's coming into fruition that it does happen. Let's shift gears now. Let's shift gears to the NFL. OTAs are starting, and some people are absent, but that's going to happen. It's the OTAs. It's kind of a down season for the NFL right now. It's off season. Not a lot of things are happening. Free agency's over, and I think that a lot of people are questioning the importance of OTAs, and they're saying people don't show up. Not a big deal. I think it is, actually, because that is where you get familiarized with people, familiarized with your new teammates, with the new coaching staff. And I think that if people miss it, that shows their commitment to the team. I really don't have a lot of analysis on OTAs. It's only been, 2 weeks of it. But I think if a player misses OTAs, it shows what they're doing and what their thoughts are on the team. Now, it could just be a coincidence, but that's not that likely. MLB, close, it's MLB regular season tends to carry on. And people are saying that the AL Central is the worst division in history. Not all, but some are saying that. The best team is a 30-25 Cleveland Indians team. Then the second best team is 4.5 games behind, Detroit at 26-30. Look at the rest of the division. The top leader in the AL East, Boston, 39-18, close behind the Yankees, 35-17. In the West, Houston, 36-22, Seattle, 33-22. East, Atlanta, 33-23. National League Central, Milwaukee, 36-21. The West, National League, Colorado, 30-26. The AL Central is a weak division. It's the weakest league in baseball right now. weakest division in baseball right now. But in history, I don't think we can put that label on it. Talk to me at the All-Star break. Talk to me at the end of the season. Don't go making these comparisons right now. Not a big hockey guy, but let's talk about hockey. So game two, of the Stanley Cup Finals occurred last night. And it showed that this could be the Capitals' year. I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I do understand of how the Capitals have had very bad luck not these past, but their whole franchise. And I truly think that they match up very well with Vegas. The great pace, good defense. I think they could pull this out. They're going back home tomorrow, and I think I could see them winning a couple games there. And I think I see them winning the Stanley Cup. I don't really have a lot of analysis for hockey just because I don't watch it enough for that. But I do think that the Capitals will win this series. That pretty much covers all the topics I had to talk about. This was mostly just an NBA segment, mostly because that's really all that's going on right now. As the seasons progress, as baseball season gets more intense, as NFL gets into preseason, and as the hockey season comes to a close, there'll be more content. But as of right now, I would just like to talk about the NBA mostly. And game 2 of the finals is on Sunday. And I can't wait to watch it. I'll see you guys then, and I'll talk about it then. Thank you for listening. This has been Sports Talk, and I'll talk to you guys later.